talking about. Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys. What are you talking about?
Hey everyone, welcome into the Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. This is episode 148. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Burley of Burleman Gaming. Our other co-host, Turn-Based Carl, he is on hiatus until November. He will be back with us in November. But with us today, one of our community members and a contributor to our show, Fubu87. Welcome into the show. And
Hey,
you're going to be
everybody.
seeing more of Fubu87, as we move on here. So want to welcome you in. So thank you so much for joining us today, Fubu. And you're going to be here for the next few weeks at least, and then probably each month coming on once or twice a month, I'm hoping. So thank you so much for joining us today, man.
Hey, I love it here. My first experience here was really, really amazing. And when you sent me the invite to come this month, I was very, very excited. I was even 1 hour earlier to join you guys. So
I
that's
know.
how excited I am.
Yeah. And Burley, how you doing? You got your Mario hat, and you got your Final Fantasy, a little bit of Nintendo and PlayStation mix there, this week.
Yeah, no, I'm good. The music was so good for the intro there, pumps it up. And then this was some stuff I ordered for some streams in the future. So I was like,
Right.
why not wear it, share it in here.
Nice. So yeah, I just want to mention something. Today I took a walk out here in Japan to Yodobashi Camera, which is one of the biggest electronics store chains out here in Japan. And on episode 146 with Lord Cognito, we were talking about how there's some instances where in Yodobashi cameras and in a lot of stores out here in Japan, you will see posters for multi-platform games that have PlayStation logo, the brand logos, the Nintendo Switch brand logos, but they do not have the Xbox brand logo on them, even though it is also a game coming to the Xbox platform. Today, saw it again with two different instances. With the Switch version of Hogwarts Legacy, which is coming in November, it had the PlayStation logo and it had the Switch logo, but it had no Xbox logo on it, and it's available for the Xbox as well. And then Persona 5 Tactica, which is coming in November, it had the Switch logo, it had the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4 logo on there, no Xbox logo. And it is coming day one to Xbox and to Game Pass. So, I mean, yeah, this is something that's really a problem out here, especially, when Xbox is trying to get more of a foothold in the market here. So that's something I just wanted to reiterate and talk about a little bit. And you can see it on my Twitter over at expat_gamer over on Twitter. I put those up today. But yeah, man, I mean, just it's amazing how they're just not even thinking about Xbox, in these brick and mortar stores, unfortunately. But so yeah, I did that today. So yeah, so we got a great show for you. We're going to be talking about Assassin's Creed Mirage's reviews. Of course, Burley and I, we did an extra take, and it's in early access over on our Patreon, and it should be going to free feeds soon. So we're going to be talking about the review roundup for Assassin's Creed Mirage. The Switch 2 is going to be coming next year, but it looks like they're still going to be making games for the original Switch for at least another year or so. We'll talk about that. PS5, for example, the Naughty Dog studio, they've laid off some employees, and of course we got the news that The Last of Us Part 2 is they're going to remaster it. Like they're remastering every game. It's like the PS5 is going to be a remaster machine now, I guess. So we're going to be talking about that as well. Also, Diablo 4 It's coming to Steam. We'll talk about that. And then our topic of the show, we're going to be talking about video game performers and the possibility of them also going on strike. So that's going to be our topic of the show, as well as our picks of the week. So we'll be getting to that. But before we get into that, first, we want to let you know where you can find the podcast. So this is where you can find the podcast in video and audio formats.
Before the crew discuss what they have been playing, this episode of The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast's ad-free version in audio and video formats, will be going to Patreon after being recorded. So if you would like to support the show and become a patron at the entry tier 1 level at $1 per month and get every episode including exclusive ad-free post-show content in video format when recorded, please visit patreon.com/thearena productions for further details. The audio version of the podcast will be uploaded to all free podcast services, where you can find us on any podcast app for iOS or Android, and in the video version, it will be on our YouTube channel, The Arena Productions. For the audio version, just download your favorite podcast app and search for The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. Subscribe, follow us, post a review, and leave us questions, comments, and feedback if you like, if that feature is available there, and spread the word about the podcast. We also have a Discord called The Arena Productions, where you can join and chat with the Arena Productions community, and the podcast audio website is at thearenapodcast.podbean.com, where you can follow us and leave questions and comments as well. For all information regarding the podcast and our entertainment and pop culture related content, along with our blog and forums, visit the official website of The Arena Productions at www.thearenaproductions.com. Finally, you can also follow us on Twitter at The Arena AMPGNP, as well as on Instagram at The Arena Productions. Now, back to the show.
All right, guys, time to talk about what we've been playing. I've been playing some Assassin's Creed Mirage. I was playing a little bit of Starfield still as well. New Game Plus, still playing with that. And I wanted to play some of Warhammer 40,000, but I'll probably be playing that, maybe some of that tomorrow. But that's what I've been playing anyway. Burley, how about you?
Well, I've been playing Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Yep.
I've put a little bit more time into that.
Mm-hmm.
I've been having some fun, but as some stated stuff in that video we recorded, there are some stuff, some issues with it, and we will, I'm sure, talk when we go to the review roundup. But I've also been playing a remake of one of your favorite games, Expat, Dead Space.
Yeah, that's a great
and
game,
boy,
man. Yeah,
it the original Dead Space is really good. I think it is better than 2. I know people like 2 over 1. The remake is good. It's just a lot tougher than the original. Even like I'm playing medium difficulty, and it's like quite a few times I've been getting killed, and I've been finding you're not getting as much of the health and ammo drops as you are in the original. So it's like it's really making that survival tough.
Yeah, that's such a great game, man. I mean, that game, it will last through time for me. I mean, I could play that game forever. I've played it like 6 or 7 times. I love good old Isaac. I love him. I love him. He's great. Fubu, how about you, man? What have you been playing?
Hey, well, I've been playing 3 things during the week. Mostly EAFC, because you know me. I'm a football head. I love that. Yeah. When I'm losing too much, I go and relax with Sea of Stars. I decided to play that game. And I'm loving it. Oh my God, it's so good. I regret not playing it earlier. And when I'm out of the house and I'm in a place I need to kill sometime, I just jump on the gacha game, Ever Crisis, the Final Fantasy VII mobile game. And it's really, really, really good. I'm enjoying, but I don't spend money. They won't take my money.
Good.
Yeah. So Fubu he's famous for making football predictions as well. So you got to go check out his content, man. So Fubu is going to be, he's like our European arm of the show now, because it's like I'm out here in Japan, Burley and Carl are in North America. So, Fubu is like our European arm now. So it's good stuff. Awesome.
Spreading all over the world.
That's right. Like that's what I've always wanted this to be, like a global represented podcast. So good stuff. All right, so let's get into our topic, the topics, our weekly news beat. We have lots of stuff to talk about. Assassin's Creed Mirage, of course, is out, and we have the review roundup for that. that we're going to talk about. So, as I said earlier, Burley and I, we did an extra take, which is our supplemental series to the Arena multi-platform gaming news podcast, where they go up in early access to our Patreon. Should be going to the free feed soon. So we talked about the gameplay. We did our gameplay review of that. But the review roundup. So let's talk a little bit about that. And I will throw the link in for you video viewers, so you can go check out the reviews. IGN actually gave this an 8. So I want to read a little bit of them. So we have the Loadout gave it a 9 out of 10, but GameSpot gave it a 6 out of 10. And that's kind of interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and get the gameplay rolling here for all of you, so you can see a little bit of it. And this is from Burley's gameplay, so you can check this out. So as I go ahead and read some of this for you, I'm going to go ahead and read the 6 out of 10 because I want to show you this is the lowest score that it was given in this roundup. So this is from Jordan Ramey over at GameSpot. Quote: Assassin's Creed Mirage is a true prequel to Valhalla, only able to tell a compelling narrative arc for Basim with the knowledge of what he becomes later in life. At the very least, you don't need an encyclopedic understanding of Assassin's Creed to appreciate Basim's growth from a young street thief to a duty-bound assassin to a truth-seeking detective as he looks into the interconnected investigations that unlock the enjoyable black box assassination missions. And though uninteresting characters mar the experience, an emphasis on social stealth and a history-rich city curate a fun and educational gameplay loop. So that's what he says over at the GameSpot. And then I'll go ahead and read the Loadout. This is from Kyle Wilson. Quote: Ubisoft delivers a truly excellent experience with Assassin's Creed Mirage, wonderfully blending the series past and present to provide players with a compact, engaging story driven by captivating characters and secrets worth seeking. It's everything you could want from an Assassin's Creed game, and a welcome sign of things to come after a divisive few years, end quote. So, Burley, I'll start with you. What do you think of those reviews? And I mean, generally, it averages out to about an 8. So from the gameplay that you've seen, I mean, how do you feel about these reviews so far?
Yeah, these reviews make sense.
Mhm.
I've got about 4 hours in now.
Mhm.
So, like I've said, this still does feel like this is DLC for Valhalla. I do like that it has gone back to its roots, but
Mhm.
everything that these kind of reviews they're telling about the story and the gameplay, it's true.
Mhm. How would you rate this among all of the Assassin's Creed games that you've ever played?
Ooh. Well, so far, I will admit this is better than Valhalla to me.
Okay.
I'm going to say that because this is the format and style I like better. Like the only ones I haven't played Odyssey. Origins I only have like 3
Uh-huh.
hours in.
Uh-huh.
So I don't have much into Origins.
Okay.
But like this is a good mid-tier in the series. This isn't,
Okay.
from what I've played, this is not going to beat 2. This is not going to beat Brotherhood, some of like 4, some of the greats of the series.
Uh-huh.
But this is better than Syndicate. This is
Okay.
better than a few other entries. Like it's mid but I'm only 4 hours in, so I can't say fully till I want to at least complete the story. But like
that's too
I
early.
did.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I do like some of the like the new stuff they added, like the whole with the eagle vision, seeing the guards line of sight.
Mhm.
That is such a nice mechanic, and they really, now that I've put a little bit more time, they've opened up with what you can do with the throwing knives.
Yeah.
You can upgrade them, and you can get some pretty neat upgrades. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. Fubu, your thoughts on the reviews and on Assassin's Creed Mirage as a whole?
Well, I don't like to trust reviews, to be honest. I think we had the situation very recently with Rotten Tomatoes where most of the reviews were bought and stuff like that. I don't I don't like to trust reviewers. I like to do what Burley did. Like what Burley said sold me much more on the game than reading the reviews, because I know, first of all, I trust Burley as a gamer. I trust him,
Yeah.
and he sold me much. When it comes to the reviews, yeah, of course they're gonna give very positive reviews. It's a very beautiful game. I'm watching the gameplay from Burley right now, and I saw some last night. And yeah, it's a beautiful game. The gameplay looks more grounded than well, except one part, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But the gameplay seems a little bit more grounded. I hope there's not like those animals and mystical stuff, because I always thought of bit of
Yeah.
a more grounded thing. Like
Yeah,
yeah, please.
I was gonna say, like, Odyssey has a ton of that. I mean,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
have Medusa, and you have these, So,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Exactly.
talking about,
I don't, and I don't like that. That's why I like Assassin's Creed, the Ezio trilogy. For me, it's my favorite one, because it's really good. It's one of my favorite trilogies, and
great character,
because it's
yeah,
great character, and it's really grounded. It's a very grounded game. They improved the gameplay, but they didn't turn it into a full action game, because I remember on Assassin's Creed 1 and 2, when Brotherhood, you couldn't gang up a lot of people at the same time and fight them. Well, you could use the smoke bombs and stuff like that, but you couldn't fight them all at once. And I feel like that the other games, you like Odyssey and Origins, you probably could gang up a lot of people and fight them. That's the memory I have of them. But when it comes to the game, and I hope this doesn't ban me to not come back here, but I'm not a big fan of this game from what I've seen, like so far. Like what Burley said sold me very well, because I didn't like something, which is the assassin focus. Like he shows up, he disappears, shows somewhere else. It's like I'm playing Final Fantasy 15 with those phase attacks. I don't think, for me, that's not Assassin's Creed. I would rather he attracts the enemy, he kills, then another one comes and he kills them again, and go like that. I don't like mystical stuff, and in this type of game, I like other games. There's like Immortal Phoenix Rising has a lot of mystical stuff. I like that. But when they said that Mirage was coming back to the Origins, I was expecting the Origins, even more stealthy. You couldn't gang up on enemies, like kill like 10 at the same time or whatever. I wasn't. I didn't want that on the new one. I was expecting something more close to the original than this. So I will play this game if it's on Plus, or there's a very good promotion. I will play it. I will buy it very cheap, but I won't pay full price for the game, because it's not what I want from an Assassin's Creed, to be honest.
I'll just say this. I mean, I'm one of the biggest Assassin's Creed fans out there, but a lot of Assassin's Creed gamers, and gamers in general, have a very short amount of patience when it comes to these types of games. First, it was, you had the Ezio trilogy, you had the, of course, Altair, you had the Ezio trilogy and all that, and then everybody started getting, we want more. We don't just want all the short 15 to 20 hour stealthy type of elemental games. We want more. We want it to be like an RPG. We want a big open world. And so they gave it to you. They gave you Origins. They gave you, Odyssey. They gave you Valhalla. And then about the time of, between Odyssey and Valhalla, everybody wanted to go back to the Origins again. Everybody was like, oh, we don't like, we want it to be shorter. We want quality over quantity. And now they're giving it to you again. So it's like, just be happy with what you get when it comes to Assassin's Creed. I mean,
I'll be honest. That's why, sorry to interrupt you, but I remember, and I was one of those fans that didn't want it to go open world. I didn't like when they did the Brotherhood only to focus in one city, which was Rome. I didn't like that part, but nowadays I look back, and I did, for the Platinator channel, I did the platinum of Brotherhood, and it grew on me as years passed, and I really liked it, because I compared Brotherhoods to the Origins and Odysseys and stuff. I'm like, no, this was good. This was really good. And I never wanted like open world, like a turn. And then the gameplay changed too much. I think the gameplay changed too much. I think it became more of an action RPG than anything else. I think that's what people got really mad when it came to Assassin's Creed. But I never I enjoyed going to one town and another, like 3-4 towns was good, but have such a massive open world. I never wanted that for the Assassin's Creed, to be honest.
Yeah. I just want to say the thing I love about the games, especially Origins and Odyssey, were the historical tours. I mean, if I were a teacher showing video games in schools, these type of games would be the games I would show, because the historical tours of ancient Egypt and of the ancient Greece were just amazing, and they also did that with Valhalla as well. So I'm hoping maybe they do like in the DLC package, they'll put in a historical tour of Baghdad, because there were articles saying that the developers, Baghdad was basically ransacked in the 13th century by the Mongols. There was pretty much nothing left of Baghdad, right? So, the historians and piecing together what they did know about this city and then being able to put it together. It made some historians, some university professors weep because of how great it looks. So I'm really excited for that, and that's what I love about the Assassin's Creed games, is you get a chance to see history, and be a part of that. So, Burley, any other thoughts before we move on?
My one thing just for this just series in general is it is a great series, but it does need to take a break. Like, they took the small break with Origins.
Yeah.
Well, it for years was yearly release and then became every 2 years. I say take a couple years off. Yeah. They won't do it because it's Ubisoft's cash cow. This is how they pay their bills and make their money.
Yeah.
I would love for them to take a few years and then retry what they did with Rogue, because Rogue was one I really liked, where you had an assassin go to the Templar and you saw the different side. So doing another game, seeing it from the different side, I would love to see, because we've only done it once. You could do it again and do more, flesh out. And as I've always said, I don't need the big giant. I'm tired of the big giant open worlds. I'm tired of all these on the back of the box. We'll give you 200 hours of gameplay over all this. You give me a good 10 to 20 hour story, because and you make it well, where every time I'm putting turning off the console, PC, whatever I'm playing on, it's like, frick, I want to keep playing, but I need sleep. You're having that conversation. If you can do that every time, you're like, you've got a great thing where I keep wanting to play, and then make good side content.
Yeah.
You don't need a lot of side content, but make side content, make it good. It'll sell, and it'll be great, and it'll be talked about for years and years to come.
Right. All right. It's time to move on. Let's talk about the Switch, guys. So the Switch 2 is coming next year. And what we do know is it will be portable. It'll be just like the Switch that we have now. You'll be able to, play it on the go, or you can hook it up to your TV. It will have an LCD screen. It will not have an OLED screen. That's what we do know, right? But the interesting thing, and we're going to talk about this, will it be backwards compatible? So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit of this for you. So this is over from IGN. So the link is coming here. There it is. So for you video viewers from IGN. So Nintendo is expected to launch its next generation console at some point in 2024, but that doesn't mean it will stop releasing games from the 6.5-year-old Switch anytime soon. Speaking to Nikkei, Nintendo president Furukawa Shuntaro-san pledged support for the aging Switch with games through to the end of the 2025 financial year. That means Switch owners can expect new Nintendo games until at least the end of March 2025. Quote, "We are still working on software for the Switch for the fiscal year ending March 31st, 2025. end quote. So, I mean, the Switch that's out now, they're going to make a ton of money this coming holiday season. And then next year, probably around the fall, we're going to see the Switch 2, most likely. And it's going to be just huge during the Christmas season next year. But then again, we're still going to be getting original Switch games into 2025. So the big question that everybody has is it going to be backwards compatible? Will the Switch 2 be able to play those original Switch games? Fubu, I'll start with you on this one. What do you think? Will you be able to play original Switch games on the Switch 2? Or is
The short
Nintendo going to say, no, you're gonna have to just buy Switch 2 games for the new console?
I'm gonna say the short answer is going to be yes. I think we're gonna be able to play, because I was actually watching a video 2 days ago of the Nintendo the free the DS the Advance the Advance, and they were compatible with the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color. And so I think they will allow that, because the change from the Wii U to the Switch, I think, was a very big change when it comes how you make the games and the programming. That I don't know about how that works, but considering it has the same name, basically, it's going to be the Switch 2, or it's going to be the Super Switch. I don't know what exactly they're going to do that.
Yes, the Super Switch.
The Super Switch.
Yeah.
They had NES, then they had SNES.
The Switch Pro. Yeah.
The Switch Pro, and Switch Pro, and then they release a bigger
Maybe,
version, and they'll call the Switch Pro Plus, which will be bigger.
Yeah.
No, but I think it's going to be they need to do that, especially if they want to sell a lot of consoles. You have the example with the VR from the PlayStation.
Yeah.
It was not compatible, and that was a big hit. And I remember Burley mentioning very, very correctly, like, why am I going to buy the VR2 if I can't? I spent all this money on the VR1 games, and I can't use it on VR2. So it's not attractive to know that I'll have to buy a console, and I'll have to buy all the new games. The price of entry is going to be very, very expensive, and that's one of the things that helped PlayStation 5 having the compatibility. I bought the game, and I swear for the first 4 months I was just playing PlayStation 4 games, because I could play PlayStation 4 games. If I couldn't do that, especially with FIFA at the time, if I couldn't play the PlayStation 4 version, why would I want the PlayStation 5 if I'm fully invested in FIFA in this case? I'm fully invested. So I think it will be, especially if they sell the game in not a holiday season, because from what I've read in the article, they're still planning to put games on the Switch until March. That's when the fiscal year ends.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, March was when the Switch was released, I think 7 years ago or something like that.
Six years ago.
6 years. It was in March. So I think they're going to make it by the book. They're going to close the fiscal year, and they will start the new fiscal year in March with the Switch 2. With games, I think they're going to do cross-platform. You'll be able to play, let's say, the Super Mario RPG is coming out. They'll release it first, like they did with the Breath of the Wild. Remember, it came out on the Wii U, and then they released a version on the Switch. I think they might go a different route. They'll do Super Mario for the Switch, and then they'll do some type of free update for the Switch 2. That's what I think is going to happen.
All right. So shout out to Purple Dragon. Thank you for coming on in. FANF_gamer 2010. Thank you so much for joining us. And one of our patrons, Fryman, the Fryman 14. He agrees with you, Fubu. Super Switch. Let's go.
Super Switch. Let's go.
Nice. Burley, your thoughts? Is it going to be backwards compatible?
I think they're going to go backwards compatible. because it is such a huge thing, and with how many units the Switch sold them and the software library with the Switch, and since they said we're going to keep making games till 2025, because Nintendo's always done that. That happened with the NES, Super Nintendo, because you had Kirby's Adventure that came out when the Super Nintendo was out, and it came out on the NES. Like, they're going to keep backwards compatibility, I hope, because it just, if they don't, it's going to be a huge blow of, okay, why am I going to buy the new hardware when, if you're still going to release, we've got that Peach game coming out next year, got Luigi's Mansion in the in the summer of next year. So it's like, if you're going to keep releasing games and then I've got to be on 2 different platforms to buy, I might as well finish up stuff on my Switch and let the library build up for the Switch too, especially since Nintendo games very rarely go on sale, and the sales you do get on them are like $15-$20 off. It's nothing like any other platform where you get the real good deals. So
yeah, I have a question for you though, Burley. I mean, how many GameCube games are now in the Switch Online service?
There's no GameCube games on the Switch Online. It's only they've got up to N64 now.
I'm sorry. Okay, N64. Okay, yeah.
I think there's there's 10.
Okay. Do you think the Switch 2 they will upgrade to GameCube and then Wii games?
Not right away. That'll be a long time. Remember, Nintendo is on the drip feed on this. We just got N64 and Game Boy, and up to Game Boy Advance. Nintendo is and Nintendo has been drip feed. Like they're the worst at it. You can get mad at Sony. You can get mad at Microsoft on their how much they're putting on their platforms.
Yeah.
Nintendo is the worst. You go months, and then they're like, okay, we'll give you 3 games.
Right.
On their Switch Online thing. Like, they're the worst for it. They're gonna drip feed. They're gonna,
and they won't change.
No, they won't change unless the Switch Online. Let's say it had I'm just pulling out a number, 25 million users on Switch Online. Mm-hmm. If that went down to like 1.2 million, they would then they would make the change. It's like it has to be a drastic where like pretty much everyone cuts the service. They won't change drip feed. I'm hoping though, one thing I'm hoping with the Switch 2, because because people got there was demos with at Gamescom, and they were showing Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and Fubu was mentioning with Super Mario RPG. I'm hoping if we're getting better versions of these where you get the higher frame rate and all that, and they're looking and running better and stuff like that, that hey, these are free updates. If you put in the cart or you have the digital down version of these games, it's free. It's not going to be the, oh, you want it on the new console, give us $20.
Yeah. I mean, that Switch Online thing, man. I mean, they've really got to revamp that, especially when the Switch 2 comes out, I think. Yeah.
Well, like the thing is they were smart enough to know, okay, we're adding like Splatoon DLC, some of the Mario Kart expansion pass DLCs for the higher tier to get people. They were smart enough to realize, okay, to get people to the higher tier, we need to add and give a little bit more. They gave some Animal Crossing content, and there was one other game, but I'm blanking on it right now. But like, they're smart enough to know that, and they know their audience.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. So next up, Naughty Dog, man. Naughty Dog has been in the news a lot this week. First, they're cutting developers, but also the news came out this week or later this week, of course, that The Last of Us Part 2 is going to be remastered, and it's like, who really needs that? That's just my opinion. I mean, the Last of Us Part 2 is a masterpiece in itself. Why do you need to remaster it? I just, I mean, the graphical fidelity and the quality of that game is super high. So, I mean, how much better can that game get? But that's just me. But yeah, cutting developers is the main part of the story. So let's go ahead and talk about that. So let me go ahead and get the link to that story up. So this is from over at Kotaku. So there is a link for you video viewers. So video game industry is currently facing a big wave of layoffs, and even contract developers at PlayStation first-party studio Naughty Dog aren't immune. So from Kotaku, they have learned that the maker of hits like Uncharted 4, Thief's End, and The Last of Us Part 2 has begun cutting contracts short for dozens of workers. But it seems like a lot of this is part-time workers, though, that have been cut. Sources said at least 25 developers were part of the downsizing, but the majority of those laid off were in quality assurance testing. So, yeah, I mean, and there's no severance pay. They just basically have to work until the end of October, and then they're basically going to be let go. So, Burley, I'll start with this one. I mean, what does this mean for Naughty Dog? Obviously, that multiplayer game that they were working on,
Factions.
what is it? The spinoff of the zombie shooter from the first game's Factions mode. That's basically been put on ice. So it hasn't been canceled, but it's been put on ice and all. So what do you think of the situation there at Naughty Dog?
Yeah, Naughty Dog's not doing the greatest because remember, they helped do their PC port of Last of Us Part 1 on PC, and anyone remembers that was a disaster. It was supposed to come out several times before, with the show being concurrent with I think by episode 2 it was supposed to come out originally.
Right. Yeah.
And they just kept delaying it. It didn't come out to episode 4 or 5 if I'm remembering correctly. I might be wrong. But it was they kept delaying it, and when it did come out, it was bad. It was just a bad PC port. It took a long time to get patches, and it's Naughty Dog. It's they're all focused all in on one IP.
Yeah,
it's all it is. Their Factions game. I think it was just they announced it was just going to be called Faction. It's supposed to be free to play, and then because Sony bought Bungie and was using them, because Destiny's done well for them.
Right.
Using them to be okay, judge these kind of games and get some feedback. And they're yeah, you can't really, if you're going to make this a free-to-play game, you can't microtransaction it well, and there's not a whole lot you could do. So they kind of did that, and then they said they were scaling back developers on Factions. Yeah. And then, we've heard rumors for years now for The Last of Us 2 remastered for PS5, which I agree doesn't need, but I'm sure they're going to call it the Abbey Edition, and I know that'll make Fryman happy. Naughty Dogs, they're all in on Last of Us, and it's they're also putting the remake out because there are people that didn't play Part 2, even though Part 2 sold very, very well. Right. But you get it out for the time of when the show's second season launches, or just a week or two prior. Yeah, that thing is going to sell because the show was so popular. Right. And you put it before season 2, boom, and it's I'm sure Last of Us Part 3 is being worked on and in development. Yeah. But to these contract workers, this is nothing new. Unfortunately, this is kind of standard practice for the industry. It sucks.
It sucks, and it's happening everywhere. I mean, this year especially has been really, really, bad in that sense.
World economy is not good, unfortunately.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's true. So, Fubu, your thoughts on Naughty Dog?
Well, I think Fryman won't like what I'm going to say now, but I personally think that The Last of Us 2 was an unnecessary game, to be honest. I think Last of Us 1 is a perfect game on its own, has a perfect ending, it has a perfect everything. But the remaster is related with the layoffs at the company, because it's very simple. They invested time and money on their Factions game, free to play or whatever, how it was going to be. I played the original online game, the Factions Online, and it was a very good experience, because when you play an online game nowadays, especially that type of game, you're used to having a ton of bullets, grenades, and stuff like that. But they introduced the scavenging aspect into the game, and you didn't have that many bullets. So every bullet counts. and I
Right.
love playing that game. So you understand, I have platinum in the 2 versions of the game. I have the original one, and there was a part that you had to do online. Then when the remaster came out, not the remake that recently, the PS4
PS4.
remaster,
Yeah.
the PS4 exactly.
PS4.
I did the same thing again. I went online again, and because I enjoyed the online content very much, and they prepared the game. They allocated resources to create the game, even if it's in an alpha phase. And now the game is not coming out. Like, they can say it's on hold or what. No, the game is not coming out. If it was supposed to come out, there would be news about that. But no, it's on. They say it's on hold, but it's a nice way of saying, "Now we're going to scrap this." And they're like, "Okay, we lost a ton of money. What will we do?" Well, the first way to save money is to fire people, especially if their contract is over. So that's a business decision. And then, how are we going to recoup the money that we lost? Make a profit? Well, everyone loved, not everyone, but everyone loved The Last of Us Part 2. Let's do a remake. And at the same time, they will be working probably on a PC port at the same time. And then they'll release also on PC for people that don't have a PlayStation. So they are both related. It is very sad to know about people losing their jobs, but
Right.
like Burley said, that's something completely normal in their line of work, because everyone gets fired at the end, and when you work for a video game company, because the project ends, you don't need the people, you'll have to move on to another project. If you are very good, you will stay at the same company, but work at a different project in the same company.
Yeah.
That's my views on it. I think it's entirely business related, and I don't want to sound cold, but I do agree with that. That's what you need to do. The company is more important.
Unfortunately, it's a business decision, but I'll just say this. I mean, they're going to be milking this game for a very, very long time. Neil Druckmann is going to milk this for as long as he possibly can. And with what's going on at HBO, they cannot finish The Last of Us Part 2 in one season like they could the first game.
You'd have to rush it.
Exactly. So, and they're not going to do that. So, there's probably going to be 2 or 3 seasons of The Last of Us 2, right? And then by the time that season 3 is finished, that's when The Last of Us 3 will be announced, or it'll be ready. And I'm going to tell you this much about Naughty Dog. Everybody's thinking, Uncharted is done. It's finished. It's over. I don't think so, because spoilers if you haven't played, the last, Uncharted game, but it's been a while, so I'm going to throw it out there now. So at the end of the game, you get Nathan Drake's daughter, right? Nathan Drake's daughter is going to take over the franchise. She's going to be the next Lara Croft. So that they're going to come out with another Uncharted at some point. When they're done milking The Last of Us, they'll go back to Uncharted again. That's just that's what I think.
Yeah, I think they're gonna do a thing where the daughter is the main character, and Nathan will take the Sully role. I think that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, either that or he's gonna be in like 10 minutes of the game,
and gonna get killed off with the golf club.
Yeah. The golf club moment. Yeah, it's like, or no. That's Sully. Sully's gonna get the golf club. Right?
Okay.
No, you can't kill
Nathan's
Sully.
Gonna get revenge.
No, you can kill Nathan. You can't kill Sully.
No. Sully deserves a nice life. He needs to die old. So
exactly. You can have him sitting there dying, smoking on his cigar, and puffing. That's the only way. Like, he dies in the sunset, kind of thing.
Actually, that's actually a perfect ending for Sully. Like you have like the frame from his nose down, and the smoke is coming out, and then all of a sudden the smoke stops coming out. That's perfect, Burley. Write that down. Don't let Naughty Dog take that idea from you. Write that down.
Oh,
That's
I got that
perfect,
written
actually.
down. We'll sell that to Naughty Dog, you and I,
God.
as soon as this is done.
Oh goodness. All right.
Yeah, that's good. Actually, that's perfect. That's a perfect ending for Sully, to be honest.
Yeah, that's for another episode of the podcast, so for another day to speculate on what's going to happen in the next what is it, Uncharted 5, whenever that comes
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
So anyway,
Sounds good.
so let's go ahead and move on, guys. So Diablo 4, Burley and Fubu, it's coming to Steam. So yeah, coming to Steam. It's coming to the Steam Deck. This is from PCGamer.com. I'll go ahead and read a little bit of it for you. So after 4 months, it's only been 4 months. Yeah. Diablo 4 on Steam will support cross-platform play with other versions of the game. Battle.net, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5, and will offer unique Steam-specific features, including Steam achievements and integration with the Steam Friends list. It will also be playable on the Steam Deck. So what's interesting about this, and Burley was talking to me about it too, is the battle pass and all, and the first season. What was it called, Burley? The year of or something. What was it? The
Season of the Malignant, or
Season
something
of the
like
Malignant. Yeah. So season 2 is going to be Season of Blood, right? So
Yeah.
season 1 was called Season of the Malignant, and you, as you told us on the, I think it was on 146, that it just tanked pretty fast. And a lot of people are saying that this possibly could get lots of negative reviews like Overwatch 2 did. So I don't know, man. The Steam Deck, what do you think, Burley? I'll start with you on this one. What is its potential?
This could help the player count, because the player count has gone down. I think it's like 99.4%. It is dropped down. And like I chipped in a few weeks ago. I logged back in because I want to finish the story on it. And it's like the player base is dead on this. This game, the season 1, they were hoping would get people back. It wasn't strong enough, especially if you did all the work to grind out that battle pass, all the gold and platinum coins that you got wasn't enough to buy anything on their shop with that. That was a really stupid thing by Blizzard that they shot themselves on the foot there. This has the potential to bring some players back, and people have been wanting. This was the thing. They wanted this on Steam. They wanted it on the deck. They wanted it on, because Battle.net, their launcher's not the greatest.
Wow.
It has issues. It's something I've hated for years. I've hated Battle.net. I will use this. Say what you want about Steam. Steam's more reliable than Battle.net. And so my hope is, since 4 months since the game came out, they're now announcing it, and it's coming in 10 days from now. It's like, I'm hoping that when we get this day 1 on Steam, it runs on the deck. And I'm not just talking like runs like, oh, I can open it and play it. Like it runs good on the deck. This isn't a game I have to sit there and go, okay, I got to change the Proton compatibility. I got to go spend a half hour looking up the settings and changing them on the deck. This is one of these games that I hope that the deck has it. When you launch on the deck, it runs well. If you want to get a little more FPS or something here, you got to turn down the resolution and some of the graphic settings to get help with that. If you want to tweak it more, that's fine. This thing needs to be like with Baldur's Gate 3, where it just worked out of the gate on Steam.
Yeah. Fubu, what do you think?
Well,
thoughts?
I think they have 2 issues here. One, I am going to be honest, I didn't even knew about the player base dwindling. I didn't even focus on that. That's very bad. 99 point some. That's basically everyone. It's a wasteland. It's Diablo 1. Everyone's dead. Diablo 1. No, it's Well, the thing is, you have to see something. First of all, Blizzard hasn't been in a state of grace with the audience for many, many, many years. This is not
Oh.
the same company that started World of Warcraft and had Warcraft 1, 2, 3, and so on. They became extremely corporate, and that's bad for video games when you only think about the money and not about the user experience. Because you need to give the user experience enjoyable, like what happened with Diablo Immortal. I played the only reason I played
Oh,
Diablo
yeah.
Immortal was because it was free to play,
Yeah.
and I played it. I enjoyed the game, but again, like Final Fantasy of Crisis, I didn't give them any money, no money at all. But I did enjoy the game. I was thinking about, buying this game when it came out, but I'm not a hardcore fan of the game. I know some people that are, and why are they going now to Steam? And let me look at my note just to make sure. How many dollars do you think they made in sales in the first 5 days when Diablo came out?
It
Hmm.
it made a ton of money because
Yeah.
of all the especially
it-
the demon the ultimate edition, all that,
Right.
because I knew people that
It-
bought it, so
Yeah.
they had the
Yeah.
4 or 5 days earlier. That gave them the tier skips, and I think you got a
Yeah.
couple like EXP boosting
Yeah.
items that lasted you for a couple hours.
Yeah, and it probably would have made more too, but and this game, came to Game Pass, so
Um,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you now, and it's actually a very interesting number because it's Diablo, but 600, 6,000, sorry, $666 million. So 666. Very interesting, to be honest. That is a lot of money. That is a lot of money. And there's the thing. It was on their own service on battle.net. So that means all this money came to Blizzard's pocket. And this is a lot of people. Like, even if it's $100 a game, to go to 666, that is a lot of people. So they got most of the people, and they're not getting any more sales because everyone already bought the game. Everyone
Mhm.
probably already bought the game. Okay, now we're gonna have to go with Steam. Probably in a few weeks, it's gonna be Epic Store, and they're gonna start giving their percentage to those companies that are reselling their game to grow the player base. Try to fill these 99% that are gone. Try to fill it, and it's less of 99%, it's 50% or whatever. They're trying to fill the game and get some money at the same time. So it is again a business decision. I've already used that this line today, but it is a business decision. They already got all the money they could have gotten only for them, and now they're trying to get some money, and they're gonna bow down to Steam, and trust me, pretty soon probably Epic Store, to sell their game, so they again get more people into the
Yeah.
game, so it doesn't look very desert, and to make more money, even if they're losing their
Yeah.
percentage.
Well, you knew this game was going to come to Steam at some point, but it's surprising that it's coming only 4 months after release. So
Yeah, I think it's really because they were expecting to the player base to grow. I'm gonna give you an example. If they do a very good promo, like in Christmas time,
Mhm.
I would probably buy 3 copies of this. One for me, one for my best friend, and another for a friend of mine. So
Okay.
the 3 of us can just rock this game together, like when we're on weekends or stuff like that. So we can
Right.
have something to do on computer. Because by the time it's Christmas time, I'm going to be done with, not done, but I will play less EAFC, and I want to play something else. And
Right.
I want to play with my friends, because this type of game is supposed to be played with people and not solo.
Oh yeah, no, like
Yeah.
I've played a lot of it with my one buddy
Yeah.
and with other people. Playing this game solo, I'm not saying you can't do it. It is fun.
It's a
But you
grind.
get that.
It's a grind.
It's best to play with people together, so you get the
Yeah.
community aspect and have
Yeah.
the fun. I know one person that's waiting to see how this launches on the deck, because he wanted
Mhm.
me to because he was going to buy it on battle.net and then see if I could help him get it running on the Steam Deck. And there were guides, but it doesn't run that great. So he's waiting to see how well it runs on the deck and then buy it because you can still log in with your account and get all your characters and everything to come over.
Yeah.
And still play between the devices. You're going to get people like that want that convenience, that will pay for the convenience factor. I'm curious to see. They made a lot of money. They need to invest it in the content because these seasons, I didn't care. Like they're now doing stuff for season 2. They've announced world bosses in the game. Instead of spawning every 6 hours, they're spawning like every 3.5 hours. So you get a chance. They're increasing the drop rates for the higher and better gear, which is great because like when I was last playing, I was getting gear weaker than me that is like 5 levels under what I'm currently at. And I'm like, I have gear that's better that I got in the early 30s and I'm now 40 in the game. And it's just like, yeah, they said they're giving 40% more experience for season, but they haven't clarified, is that for season 2 or just everything? I'm hoping everything, because the game, once you reach like level 75, that's the halfway point and the grind really just whittles down. And it's like, they've got it. It's nice that they're doing some of the stuff, but they really need to push and do stuff. Make some extra bosses that people care about. You can bring some characters, because they said they want to make this game last like Diablo 2, where it had that effect where it kept even while Diablo 3 was coming out, Diablo 2 was still very popular.
Can I tell you guys a secret? Every Diablo experience I've ever had, I've played solo. Wow. I've never played with friends and never played with anybody else. I have played Diablo. Crazy. I know it is, because expat is a little crazy. So I mean, I just
a little. Sorry.
Yeah, a little burly, a little. Yeah, I just I guess I'm in the minority here, but yeah, I mean, it's I love the single player experience with it. I mean, I love the grind. It just it's something about me, I guess. Yeah.
Sorry, but Diablo, one of the reasons I stopped playing Diablo Immortal, like I started playing with my friend, then he decided not to play anymore because it was killing his phone. I played a little bit more. I used the BlueStacks and everything, and I was playing by myself, and I was like, oh, no, this is not good. And then I got to that point where you really need to start buying stuff to evolve better.
Yeah, pay to win.
Like, the pay to win area. I was like, nah.
Yeah, because I've always been more of a single player guy when it comes to gaming, and that's why I probably should do the multiplayer or the co-op experience when it comes to like the Souls games, because then I would be able to get through those games and not like want to slam my controller down and just scream and yell all the time. I mean, the Bloodborne and, like Elden Ring and those type of games. I mean, I love the art styles. I love the games, but I can't get through them because, the roguelike elements and everything to it. And I'm coming from that single player mentality. I got to do this on my own. I got to try it. And then it's like, after like about 10 hours of just killing myself, I just have to put it down, so whereas with Diablo, it's not that type of game. So I can grind and I can get through it after how many hundreds of hours playing the game. So but
expat is a strong independent man in video games.
I mean, that comes from my basketball background. I mean, I'm a very highly competitive person, and that's that I brought that to gaming as well.
That's why I play well now EAFC. Like I'm highly competitive. Like, and this happens to me, and this is true. If now it doesn't happen as much because it's easier to get on the weekend league. But a few years ago, which is the highest tier, like best rewards, everything, and the best players are all there. Just so you know, I got invited to the pro ladder for the EAFC. That's how hardcore I'm going in the game. And I remember a weekend that you had to register, and you can only register it until certain time. And
Mhm.
for some reason, I totally forgot, and I didn't play that weekend league. And that weekend, everyone was like, "Fabio, what's wrong with you? You look pissed." And I was like, "Oh, it's something other than no." But because that competitive edge in me
Yeah.
wasn't draining out, so
Yeah.
I was in the mood. I remember that weekend I was in the mood, and yeah, I'm highly competitive.
Yeah.
With strangers, with friends. Well,
Yeah.
remember last time I was here, I was playing Monopoly. I yelled at my girlfriend because of Monopoly. So it's okay.
All right.
Well, I think that's in the rules of Monopoly. You have to yell at each other.
Right. Right. All right, guys, let's move on. Let's get to the topic of the show. So we've had the writer's strike. The actors are on strike. I mean, the writers are now back at work. I mean, you know, the late night talk shows are back, you know. But the actors are still on strike, and if a deal doesn't get done, there's a real strong possibility that game performers are going to strike as well. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this story from Reuters, which is really interesting and has some perspectives about the possibility of these game performers going on strike. So Sissy Jones isn't asking to be paid millions of dollars to give video games their voice, but the actor and others like her performing under a Screen Actors Guild video game contract say they need more money to cope with rising costs of living. Quote, "We haven't had a raise in 5 years, 4 years maybe, and prices have gone up. Our rates have not," end quote, said Jones, a BAFTA winner for her voice as Delilah in the Campo Santo video game Firewatch. Jones is covered under a contract with video game makers negotiated by SAG-AFTRA. Voice actors and motion capture performers in the multi-billion-dollar video game industry voted overwhelmingly this last 2 weeks ago now to authorize a strike if negotiations on a new labor contract set to begin, which from when this story came out was supposed to be on a Tuesday, if they fail, setting the stage for another possible work stoppage in Hollywood. So SAG-AFTRA said 34,687 members cast ballots, and 98% overwhelmingly voted that if the negotiations fail, they would go on strike. So basically, there's two main issues here. I mean, there's some others, but two main issues. One is the pay, like I was mentioning at the beginning of this article, talking about they haven't gotten a pay increase in like almost 5 years. But the big concern is AI. So the video game industry generated total revenues of 180.3 billion in 2021 and is expected to generate revenue of 218.8 billion by 2024, according to data analytics firm Newzoo. So with video game console sales up in 2023, PlayStation maker Sony said in July it expects to sell 25 million units of PS5 consoles. And then it goes on. But the AI has been an issue for writers as well as striking actors covered by TV. And in this article, it talks about the fact that some of the voice actors, their voice was used through AI in some projects that they did not give approval for. And so that is a major, major concern to these, game performers. And in the Writers Guild strike, of course, AI, when it comes to the writing, was also a big issue, which they were able to work out. So I'm going to throw it to you guys. Fubu, I'll start with you on this one. Is a strike by the game performers imminent, or do you think this is going to be worked out?
I think a strike will happen. You see all over the world. You see. I don't want to use the word complain like they're complaining. No, but you see all over the world. A lot of people are getting they're getting mad, let's say like this, at their work conditions because they see the people, their bosses getting richer and richer, and the normal worker is not getting any more money. And this goes to economic basis, which you read the inflate. They didn't get the money, the pay rates. Sorry, I was blanking there. So I think there's an economic factor called inflation. Like people, not people, things get the price rises up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
First of all, when it comes to economic terms, I think it should be mandatory. Let's say if there's a 10% rise on the inflation, I think it should be mandatory and minimum 10% raise for all paychecks, private, government, whatever. And this includes obviously the worker conditions. I think the workers should all get that pay raise, because if your pay raise doesn't follow what the economy is going, you'll have a weak economy because people won't be able to spend money. But that's for a different type of topic. This is just the opening. I actually read a news article without knowing we were going to talk about this. The voice actress that played Naomi Hunter in the Metal Gear series, she said she got pennies for what the game made. She got paid very, very poorly. And then this goes and spreads in two things. There's the normal game. Okay, there's the normal game, which you sell X amount of games and it's done and you get paid for that. But there's a new thing now, which is the live action games. It's not new, but it's new. And the live action, and those live action games keeps pumping things. It's a game that never ends. That means a person has work for a long time. That's true, but I think the person should get a percentage of how long the game goes. I'm going to pay you, let's say, $5 for 5 lines, and those 5 lines will be played millions of times, but they're only paid 5 times. They should get like a percentage of how much their voice is used. I think there's something they need to fight for that, because I'm not saying pay $1 again, but just pay 1 penny, and 1 million pennies, it's already a lot of money. I think they should get a percentage when it comes to that. And when it comes to AI, I think AI is a problem, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's going to be that serious, because AI can do a lot of good stuff, I'll be honest, but they don't know how to read an emotional cue because they are a machine. So when it comes to video games, they can they can use AI, but what the intonation, the pitch, everything will fall flat because the machine won't know how to react at that time. So let's say a person falls down like in a funny way. The machine will read it like the person got hurt, and it's going to be, oh no, instead of, like, let's say if there's a funny fall, oh no, when they start laughing, they won't know how to emotionally read things. So when it comes to lines, I don't think they will replace either in writing or in voice. What the other part I think they really need to also work, the actors, is to preserve their image and the likeness with voice and image. They need to preserve that, because some people might not want, like, I only work for this project and I don't want you to use this sample anywhere else. And of course, there's going to be other people that will be like, yeah, you can use my image as long as you pay me. So it is something very, very, very hard to write down, because not everyone will agree with what they want to propose. So it's going to be very hard. But to conclude, I do think they need to do a strike to protect themselves in the future.
Yeah, I'm thinking if it does happen and that there is a work stoppage, could you just imagine, like, we've had this with the actors already. I mean, with shows and the production of certain shows. Like, for example, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, because of the work stoppage, it most likely may not come, the next season may not come until 2025, if, unless they can get out and start working again. So can you imagine for the gaming industry, like games like the Jedi Survivor sequel that they just recently announced, or like say with PlayStation with Wolverine, or these games that are maybe 4 years out. It could be 5, 6, or 7 years. I mean, depending on how long a work stoppage would last.
Yeah.
Burley, your thoughts? I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I think a strike is it's just what day is it going to get announced? It's coming 4 to 5 years without raises, increases on some of the stuff. It's like, and especially with over in these last couple of years, because of the pandemic, people have been buying and playing more games. Sales have been going up. So yeah, they should see this. And like, we've had the stories, we've had some that tried to take advantage of the whole thing. The one Bayonetta voice actress, where she was playing both sides, and she got shown for who she was on that. But there have been voice actors and actresses that have been getting nothing, and they're like some that they're not. It's just their voice; it's their likeness in the character. Like the actor for Cal, from the two Jedi Survivor Jedi games. It's not just his voice; it's his likeness and his face and all that is get used. So it's quite a bit there. So like, I want for people to get paid, and like, I kind of agree with Fubu on the games that are live service that just keep going and going, and then they're doing that. And companies with like EA and stuff, they will use AI to reuse. Okay, we got them saying these words and letters, because what they're going to soon enough do is soon start recording people. Okay, I want you to say every letter of the alphabet slow. They can record. No, I'm serious.
I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So yeah,
and so that way they can. So pay them $100 or pay them $100-$200 to record the whole alphabet, and then it's like, okay, we spent that. Now we can just use AI and some other stuff, stitch it all together, get all our voice acting done, and we only paid $200 or whatever.
Yeah, and with the advance in technology, I mean, within the next few years,
5 to 10 years, it's just gonna get insane. I already see it now. Like, if I'm on YouTube with shorts, you get the shorts, and then you also get the ads of people taking politicians, the AI using politician voices, saying stuff like, I have seen ones with like Bill Clinton, for example, redoing stuff, and it's like, oh my god, it's just insane.
Yeah, there are free voice programs. I mean, to get more voices, you have to pay money, but there are free programs, that you can do the AI voices. Like, you can get Clinton, you can get Obama. Yeah, I mean, and Biden. I mean, it sounds exactly like them. Exactly like them. And so there have been YouTube videos made about like discussions on video games between like Trump and Biden.
I've seen that.
I mean, and if you didn't know it was AI, it'd be like, man, that's Biden and Trump. We're talking about video games, man. I can't believe it. I mean, it's pretty scary. I mean, in a sense, how the technology is advancing so quickly, and how humans, and not just in video game development and all, but in just regular jobs, are just going to get brushed aside, because AI can just perform at a much more efficient and much quicker rate. So I don't know, but hopefully the actors, I mean, basically, if the actors strike ends, probably obviously the game performers, they work in the same group, so it will probably be resolved in that sense, hopefully. So hopefully soon, because the writers are going to be going back to work. And usually when the writers go back to work, usually some kind of agreement is usually done, for the actors as well. So I don't know. We'll see. hopefully there's no work stoppage, because can you just imagine, like on our channel here on the Arena Productions, me and Burley and Carl, and we were talking about how, like, we're not just video games here, we're also entertainment and pop culture. So with the entertainment and pop culture stuff slowing down because of the actors strikes and stuff, and a lot of the shows being delayed and pushed back because of the strikes and all, it's like video games, that was our, it's our bread and butter, and we can fall back on video games, and the content here with all the video game coverage and stuff. But could you imagine if they go on strike and video games start getting pushed back too? It's like everything, man. It's like, what are we gonna do? It's like, what? So, but anyway, hopefully that does not happen. So, yeah, we shall see. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, an existential fight to make sure that they hang on to their rights and their own voices. Yes.
I'm not going to dwell into it too much, but where I work in the hotel industry, like I was telling before the show started, and I'm telling you, the island where I live, I'm going to say 85-90% of people work in the hotel industry, in tourism industry, and it is syndication, the union. We have a different name. We call it syndication here. But the union has helped a lot of people, me included. They've helped a lot of people, and they prevent abuses, because companies, and we go with EA, which I'm telling you, I played their games, but they're sorry for the bad word, they're a shit company. There's no other. The way they treat people. And,
well, they were voted like America's worst company, I think, a couple of years
exactly.
back.
And look, I know that here we don't have that, but I know that in America, for example, there's also the discourse that unions are bad. And I remember watching something that it was an actor, and he was doing an anti-union advertisement, and he was like, "Hey, it's work. I believe in being unionized, but it's work. I need to feed myself." So, but yeah, I think that they need to go on a strike. They need to fix up in union. Look what happened with Marvel. They're ganging up to have a union, and projects seem to be better. When you say Marvel, you say everything else that's related with Disney, the VFX artists, and things are starting to pump a little better. Like I saw Loki. We're not going to talk about it, but I saw Loki. I love the special effects on the first episode. It was really, really good, and I'm hoping that it's some impact of like, okay, let's not take advantage of people. Let's not make modern slavery, make them the crunch time. That's the word, the crunch time. And my example as being in the hotel industry, it's very important to have a union here, or else we would be doing crunch time all the time, because we had no one to support me. And if there's something wrong with my job, which is not, I love my job, this one, I really liked it a lot. But I had one issue with a previous job, doesn't matter. And I went to the union, and they say, okay, go to the lawyer. And what I paid for a month was not even 1% what I would pay to a lawyer. So it's really important to be protected in any type of line of work. Type of line of work, you need to be. It's like a car insurance. You really hope you don't need to use it, but it's better you have it just in case.
Yep.
But you're glad when you do have to use it. You're glad you have it. Yeah,
that's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
That's it.
All right. So that was our topic of the show. Let's hope that there is no game performer strike. Hopefully all of the strikes will end soon. All right. So next up is our picks of the week for the week of October 9th through the 15th. And I was surprised that none of us picked Call of Duty, because Call of Duty is coming out.
I was surprised you didn't pick the Star Trek game. I was surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a little apprehensive on that one. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, if it's really good after it comes out, I'll definitely play it. But let's go ahead and get to our releases. Releases.com. You go to releases.com and check out all of the games that are coming out this week and for the rest of October, as well as through the end of this year and beyond. So go and check out releases.com. My pick of the week, and it's coming to Game Pass day one. Forza Motorsport, guys. Forza Motorsport. So let me go ahead and read a little bit of that for you. So rev up more than 500 authentic vehicles in Forza Motorsport. From modern race cars to over 100 editions new to the franchise. Engage in thrilling races across 20 vividly realized environments, each replete with fan favorite tracks and multiple circuit layouts to conquer. So it comes out on October 10th. So on Xbox, yes. PC and Xbox Series X and Series S. So yeah, great stuff. Yeah. So Forza Horizon was like, a year plus ago. And of course, now we got Forza Motorsport coming. So really excited to do some racing again. So when it comes to Game Pass day one, if you are a Game Pass subscriber. So check it out. Good stuff. All right. So Fubu, you are up next. What do you have for us?
So I have a very nice game called Mercenaries Wings: The False Phoenix. This game is related to the Mercenary Saga trilogy, but it is not 100% related to them. It's like a spin-off, and this game will offer a familiar gameplay, but a separate story and a worldview from the Mercenary Saga trilogy. You don't need to play the Mercenary Saga to enjoy this game. It's a turn-based tactical RPG. It has pixelated graphics, very nostalgic. I really played this game, very nostalgic. It has a medieval setting, magic, a job tree. The best comparison I can give you, it is a less refined triangle strategy, and without the choices that you did at the end of every chapter. Sorry, and it's a very interesting game. I liked it a lot. I bought it just on the Switch, and it's coming on the 12th of October, and it is a must buy if you enjoy this type of game. I loved it.
All right. Cool. Burley, what's your pick?
My pick is Mercenary Saga Will of the White Lions. Yeah. Mercenary Saga 1 is a turn-based tactical simulation RPG. Is the first of the series, followed by many solid simulation games, Mercenaries Blaze and Mercenaries Rebirth being the most recent additions to the series. So it is coming Thursday, October 12th, just to PC. But yeah, like this just gives me the Final Fantasy Tactics vibes, gives me triangle strategy, some Fire Emblem vibes, games I love. So it's like, yeah, this is a series I didn't hear of or know of till when we're making the format and being like, okay, pick your pick of the week. I'm looking. I didn't pick Call of Duty because I'm like, I'm got a Call of Duty'd out for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I was the same way, Burley. So that's why I picked Forza Motorsport.
Plus, like, no offense, if I was gonna play that game, I liked Modern Warfare 2 that they did last year. It'd be, hey, I'm waiting for this deal to go through and just play it that way. I'm not spending because how much it is over here in Canada.
Yeah,
for me just to buy the base version of the game is $101.
That Game Pass patience, man. Yeah, so
yeah, and unless someone wants to paint, oh, never mind. So I'm gonna say, as soon as those words leave my mouth, I know certain people will get ideas.
Yeah,
no, I never liked playing first-person shooters on PlayStation. Never liked it. I prefer on PC, and there's a huge skill gap that I don't want to try to close that skill gap. I don't touch those games, to be honest.
All right. So anyway, check out releases.com for all of the picks of the week that we showed you, as well as everything coming out for the week of October 9th through the 15th, as well as games coming beyond the month of October. So releases.com. So you can check that out. All right. So it's time for some programming notes. Obviously, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/thearenaproductions. where we have our gaming shows, we have our Marvel shows, our Star Trek shows, our Star Wars shows, our sci-fi shows, our fantasy shows. So all are ad-free for all of our patrons. The post shows that we do usually after every episode are exclusive to patrons, and our Extra Take episodes, which is a supplemental series to the Arena Multi-Platform Gaming News podcast. Those are they go up in early access for patrons before going to the free feeds. So yeah, a lot of content that we have over there, and please check it out. We do have a 7-day free trial for all of our tiers over there, and there are no strings attached. You can come and check out all of our content, and if you really like what you see, think about, of course, helping us with all of our content and helping us make greater content for you in the future. So patreon.com/the Arena Productions. So really cool stuff. And some of our videos that we've just put up, which is of course ad-free on Patreon as well as on the YouTube channel here. Star Wars Ahsoka Part 8, The Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord. My recap and review of that episode of Ahsoka. That is on both Patreon and on YouTube now. So please check that out. And just after we finish recording the episode of the podcast here, we are going to be doing our Season 1 series discussion of Star Wars Ahsoka. So stay tuned for that. That should be going up to the channel sometime tomorrow. So we're really looking forward to that. And on the Star Trek side of things, Star Trek Lower Decks Season 4, Episode 6, Parth Ferengi's Heart Place recap and review, which I did as a really funny episode. Really cool stuff. We had good old Rom from DS9, his voice in the show. It was really cool. So, yeah, good stuff. So please check out our Lower Decks recap and review for this past week. And finally, Loki Season 2, Episode 1 recap and review. I put that up today. So, yeah, great stuff. And like Fubu was saying, the special effects in that episode were really cool. So please go and check that episode out as well. So great stuff over on our Patreon and, of course, here on the YouTube channel. And one more thing about the YouTube channel, our channel here, the Arena Productions. The Arena Productions Live is coming back next Monday. So every weekday, Monday through Friday, from 4:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, we will be back. Burley and I will be doing the Arena Productions Live. So talking about the day's gaming news as well as entertainment and pop culture related news. So that should be really fun. So looking forward to coming back to that this coming Monday. So please stay tuned for that here on the Arena Productions YouTube channel, which we will be recording live on weekdays. So the Arena Productions Live is coming back. So looking forward to that. All right. So with that out of the way, what are we going to be playing this next week? I'm going to be trying to play some Warhammer. I got to play that game Cocoon. I've heard really great things about it. I'm going to try to play some of that, as well as on the PlayStation side. Probably going to, probably play some more Jedi Survivor, a little bit of that. So yeah, so a lot of stuff to get to this coming week. How about you, Burley?
For me, it'll be keep playing some Mirage as well as Dead Space Remake.
Okay.
Those are my two main games for the next while.
Okay. All right. And Fubu, how about you? What are you going to be playing this next week?
Well, the answer is simple. It's going to be EAFC. It's starting to vamp up. It's like they're opening the like I need to practice for the pro ladder that I told you about. The weekend league, which is the hardest one, is open. I need to get to the elite level in the game, so there's a lot of grinding. But because it's also October, and at this time I like to play a little bit of a more scary game. I am really interested on playing the Callisto Protocol they gave on Plus. I really want
Uh-huh.
to try it, and I'm gonna take the advice from Burley, and I'm just gonna upgrade the stun baton and just whack them. That's what I'm gonna do.
Fubu,
Yeah,
it's
the
not
stuff.
it's not on PS Plus out in Japan. Callisto
Oh yeah,
Protocol.
I know.
Yeah,
I saw
it's
that.
banned. You can't buy it out here. Yeah,
Nuts. I remember you were talking that on one of the previous episodes because I
yeah,
had no idea, and
yeah,
you said it was banned. I was like, "What? Really?" I had no idea.
yeah.
But
Tropico 5 is the game out here that you can play instead of Callisto
they
Protocol.
could have given a better game,
Yeah.
man. It could have been a better game. But yeah, I wanna try the Callisto protocol. I
Yeah.
want to do that, and we'll see how it is. It really depends. If I'm winning too much on FIFA, I won't stop. It's like when you're gambling at the casino. If you're winning, you don't stop. You just stop when you lose.
There you go. There you go. All right. Okay, so to end our show, we always have an indie recording artist spotlight. So we spotlight a particular indie recording music artist to end the show with our music and video game outro. So this week's spotlight is on Alex Grawl. Specializing in music for videos, Alex Grawl creates unique sounds that bring together an eclectic mix of genres and inspirations. From rock and blues rock to hip hop and future bass, from the title song of his album called Starburst. So this has been The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, episode 148. I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Burley of Burleman Gaming, and our special contributor at his first appearance on The Arena, Fubu87. Thank you so much. And he will be back with us next week as well, filling in for Carl again. So we hope to catch you in the next one. So take care, everyone, and have a great week of gaming and enjoy the outro. Peace out.